Hare Krishna, welcome to this episode of Bhagavad Gita. So today we will be studying, Today we'll be studying the 11th chapter, 50th verse of Bhagavad Gita. And the title is The Confidential Love of Arjuna for Kṛṣṇa. It's a very interesting topic, and we'll say our Mangalacharan prayers and continue. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So 1150. Sanjaya Uvacha Ityarjunam Vasudevastathoktva Swakam Rupam Darshayamasa Bhuyah Ashvasayamasa Chabhitamenam Bhutva Punah Saumya Vapur Mahatma. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya said, Iti, thus, Arjunam, unto Arjuna, Vasudeva, Krishna, Tatha, in that way, Uktva, speaking, Swakam, his own, Rupam, form, Darshayam, asa, showed, Bhuyah, again, Ashvasayam asa, encouraged, Cha, also, Bhitam, fearful, Enam, him, Bhutva, becoming, Punah, again, Saumya Vapuhu, the beautiful form, Maha Atma, the great one. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. Purport. When Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and... Sorry, this is wrong. When Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva, not Vasudev. That is wrong. Let's edit. When Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he first of all appeared as four-armed Narayana. But when he was requested by his parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child in appearance. Okay, so Prabhupada is citing this instance of Krishna's birth. When Krishna first came in front of Vasudeva and Devaki, he appeared in a four-handed form. The painting is also there. And then he transformed himself into an ordinary child in appearance. Similarly, Krishna knew that Arjuna was not interested in seeing a four-handed form. But since Arjuna asked to see this four-handed form, Krishna also showed him this form again and then showed himself in his two-handed form. The word Saumya Vapuhu is very significant. Saumya Vapuhu is a very beautiful form. It is known as the most beautiful form. When he was present, everyone was attracted simply by Krishna's form, and because Krishna is the director of the universe, he just banished the fear of Arjuna, his devotee, and showed him again his beautiful form of Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita 538, it is stated, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Only a person whose eyes are smeared with the ointment of love can see the beautiful form of Sri Krishna. So there is this comment 10.344. So now we will try to understand this. So the sequence of events is that Krishna showed the universal form, which is grandiose and very magnificent. And after that, Arjuna, what happened to Arjuna? He was first, of course, flabbergasted by the scale and the sheer ferocity of that form. And eventually, it induced fear in him. Fear in the sense, he was not fearful of Krishna devouring him or destroying him, such a great force coming to finish him up. Not that kind of fear. The demons have that kind of fear. Narasimhadev, the form of Narasimha, when, it is described that when the pillar in the Hiranyakashipu's palace broke, when he struck the pillar with his fist, and the pillar cracked, before the form of Narasimha came out, there was a roar. When Hiranyakashipu heard that roar, for the very first time, he experienced what fear was. Until then, he did not know what fear was. And that's just the roar of the Lord. When he came out in his form, Ugra Rupa, Hiranyakashipu, closed his eyes because he was so fearful to look at. He was so fearsome. But Prahlad, he wasn't afraid. In fact, that's what he said in the 7th canto, right? He said, not afraid. Not only am I not afraid, in the future, devotees will remember you to attain fearlessness. Naham bibhemya jitate bhayanakasya jihvarkanetra bhrukutira bhasogradam shtrat antrasrajah kshatajake sharashanku karnan nirhrada bhita digibhadari bhinna khagrat. My Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high wedge-like ears, nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distant places, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. Prahlad wasn't afraid. Hiranyakashipu was afraid. So, the fear that Arjuna experienced, was that the distance that it created between him and Krishna. I mean to say, not the physical distance, the emotional distance. When we're talking about emotions, we're not talking about material emotions, but spiritual emotions. The love, the closeness, the intimacy that Arjuna felt for Krishna before was stunted, was crippled in a way. And That's because he was reminded of the supremacy, the absolute undefeated supremacy that Krishna thoroughly enjoys. So when Arjuna saw that, he understood that he is no match for Krishna and he has no authority to call Krishna his friend or joke about him or pass jokes on him and sit and eat with him, play with him. So he felt that was too audacious to do, and he felt the fear which is born out of what is that? Repentance. Like he felt he did wrong. He felt he wronged Krishna by treating him as an equal. Now, if an ordinary person does that, if an ordinary person treats Krishna as equal, that is too audacious. We are not in that level. We cannot feign such intimacy. So when we do something like that, that is audacious, that is offensive, that is called what is the word? Sahajya. Taking things too cheaply, too lightly. Oh, Krishna is just my friend. He's just my, I can just speak to him as I talk to my friend. I can be angry with him. I can be moody with him. Nah. Krishna has no time for that. We have no right to be like that with Krishna. Because right now, we are a nobody. We have relinquished our eternal relationship with Krishna, wanted to forget him, and we forgot about him. We don't even have any idea what our relationship is with Krishna. And suddenly I want to be so close. Krishna is not interested with that. Krishna says, Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktaschate jana. Krishna is not interested. What is this? Yeah. Mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamata. Lord Krishna told Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees. But those who are the devotees of my servant are factually my devotees. So, so if we have to approach Krishna, we have to be humble. We have to approach through his devotee. We have no direct access. And Krishna does not allow that. But Krishna allows through the medium of his devotee, because his devotees are very dear to Krishna. Krishna, if he has to examine our qualities, if he has to be the referee to judge whether we are going to go back to Krishna, we can never qualify. Of course, he is kind, which is why he's been maintaining us since time immemorial, even though we have relinquished him, even though we have forsaken him, but he has not forsaken us, staying with us life after life in our heart, just beside us, waiting for us to return to him. But if he has to judge us, like whether we are qualified or not, we will never be qualified. And Krishna wants to be compassionate towards us. He wants to be more compassionate than he can be. Krishna wants to be more compassionate to us than he can ever be. He is Karuna Sindhu. He is an ocean of mercy. Still, he doesn't do it directly. He says, Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktaschate. Mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas. Who is more merciful than Krishna? Srimati Radharani and the devotees. They are more merciful than Krishna. So this is explained. Okay, let's go first here. 1867. Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushrusha vacham na chamam yobhyasuyati. Krishna says here, this confidential knowledge, which, what is that? Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. So always become his devotee, always think of Krishna, bow down to him and offer our homage and service to him. So that is, and the next verse, which is Sarvadharman parityajyam mamekam sharanam vraja, to give up every other dharma and surrender to Krishna. So that is something Krishna said to be the most confidential. Now then Krishna next, the very next verse, he says, this confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. And to be situated in devotional service means that we have to first Ado Gurvashrayam Sadharma Pricha. Ado Gurvashrayam. So we have to take shelter of Guru, who is a pure devotee coming in the Sampradaya from Krishna. So this confidential knowledge will never be explained, right? But then he says, Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mame vaishyatya samshaya. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, not everybody, to the devotees. For them, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. See, generally it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only. For those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries to sincerely present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, 69, he says, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Than who? Than the one who explains it to the devotees. Okay. Now, here in the 1817, and I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So, to worship Krishna, we should study his sacred conversation with Arjuna. That is real worship. Okay, now 71, isn't it? Anyone who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reaction, attain to the auspicious planets where the choirs dwell. Okay. So you see in the purport, Prabhupada mentions here, in the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. You see, so actually this purport can be part of the 67 purport actually. It kind of continues from there. But somehow it does not exist there. It exists in the 71 purport, but it's nonetheless extremely relevant. So it is, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class, and in that class, not all the students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. Okay, now let's go to 326. Here, Krishna says, "Na buddhi bhedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam joshayed sarva karmani vidvan yuktah samacharan." So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. So he's saying that don't disrupt the minds of the ignorant men and encourage them to do prescribed duties which are not fully devotional yet, but or by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. In our movement, this can be achieved by a number of ways. Although they don't have to go through the karma kandiya process, they can engage in other forms of volunteer service at the temple and participating in the kirtan, and eventually getting purified and partaking of Krishna prasadam and engaging in all other kind of services in the temple, and then associating with devotees in that way, and then eventually becoming a devotee himself. So let's see. Okay, so then we have 329. Prakritir sammudhaah sajjante gunakarmasu tana Kṛṣṇa mandan Kṛṣṇa vinna vichalayet. Now, the point here is, I'm trying to make that Krishna is merciful, but he wants to be more merciful than he can be. That's the point, right? So here, he's merciful, but he's saying, see what he says. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. So the performer may do something which is not very high grade, not devotional yet. He may be worshipping demigods, or he may be doing some pious activities, moral activities, and not really Krishna consciousness, which Krishna demands in the finality of Bhagavad Gita. He says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. That's his final statement. So, but people may not be in that caliber yet. And Krishna is saying the wise should not unsettle them. We should not force it upon them that you have to become devotee. See, Krishna is saying like that. Now, you see what Prabhupada says here. Men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them and simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord. This is the point. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than the Lord because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Consequently, they undertake all kinds of risks, even to the point of approaching ignorant men to try to engage them in the acts of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for the human being. So, what does he mean by saying they are more kind than the Lord because they understand the purpose of the Lord? But then the Lord said, don't go and disturb them. Why? What is the Lord's purpose that he has understood that he's going and disturbing them? The purpose is that person, if you agitate him, then he may become antagonistic to Krishna and he may become more averse. So let him be in the course of action that he's doing and slowly climb the moral and pious ladder so as to come to the point where he can, what is that? 728. Yesham tu antagatam papam, yes. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam. Te dvandamoha nirmukta bhajante mam dradhavrataha. So Krishna is hoping for this. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So for them to become determined, it takes lifetimes of purification. So let them be acting piously over lifetimes and then eventually come to him. But the devotee of Krishna, taking shelter of Krishna, he can purify even the worst sinners. Narad Muni purified the Mrigari hunter, and Valmiki, who was a highway robber, uh, he purified them. And that's why it is said, किरातहोणान्ध्र पुलिंद पुल्कषा आभीरशुं शुंभायवनाः खसादयः येन्ये च पापा यदपाश्रयाश्रयाः शुद्ध्यन्ति तस्मै प्रभविष्णवे नमः. Kiratas, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkashas, Abhiras, Shumbhas, Yavanas, members of the Khasa races, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to His being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto Him. So even the worst sinners can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees. And how do the devotees purify them? We can see this practically in the life of Srila Prabhupada. When he went to the West, how did he purify them? By his association, of course, and by his chanting. So by Krishna's name, chanted by a pure devotee, it is so powerful. Let's see if I can find that. No. 428. What is Rudra Gita? Come on. $424.32, but that's what it's in the purport of 424. Yeah, that's the exact thing that I took out just now. But why does it look different? 32, yeah, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. What Maitreya Vacha? Interesting. Okay. Out of his causeless mercy. Okay, if we go to the previous verse. Okay, so this is the thing. This is what Lord Shiva said. Now I shall chant one mantra, which is called Rudra Gita, which is not only transcendental, pure, and auspicious, but is the best prayer for anyone who is aspiring to attain the ultimate goal of life. When I chant this mantra, please hear it carefully and attentively. This is the point. Let's see, what is the Japtavyam, always to be chanted, Viviktam, very particular. Pavitram Paramam Nishreyasakaram Api Shruyatam Tattvavit Idam Viviktam Japtavyam Pavitram Mangalam Param Nishreyasakaram Chapi Shruyatam Tattvavit. See, when I chant it, please hear it carefully and attentively. This is important. So now, the Prachetas, the exalted personality of Lord Shiva, out of his causeless mercy, a great devotee of Lord Narayan, continued to speak to the king's sons who were standing with folded hands. So here, yes, Lord Shiva voluntarily came to bless the sons of the king as well as do something beneficial for them. He personally chanted the mantra so that the mantra would be more powerful. And he advised that the mantra be chanted by the king's sons, Rajaputras. When a mantra is chanted by a great devotee, the mantra becomes more powerful. Kṛṣṇa, so although the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is powerful in itself, A disciple upon initiation receives the mantra from his spiritual master, for when the mantra is chanted by the spiritual master, it becomes more powerful. Lord Shiva advised the sons of the king to hear him attentively, for inattentive hearing is offensive. So, so the point here is the mantra becomes more powerful. So, how does the pure devotee extend the mercy to the persons who may not seem to be qualified candidates, qualified recipients of such mercy? So, he takes to the shelter of Krishna's name and chants it, and coming from his mouth, it becomes more powerful. That's why, even in the beginning of Bhagavatam, it is said, Nigama Nigamakалпатароргалитам phalam Shukamukhadamrita samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam rasamalayam Muhurahurasika bhuvi bhavukah. Shukamukhad amrita drava samyutam Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam. Galitam phalam means ripened fruit. When a fruit is ripened, it is already sweet, like a mango. Ripened mango is already sweet. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam. The ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature. Nigamakalpataror. The desired tree of Vedic literature. Nigama means Vedic, Vedas. So that ripened fruit, Shukamukhad amrita drava samyutam, it becomes even more nectarian when touched by the lips of a pure devotee. And the example is given Shukamukhad because if a parrot bites onto a fruit, the fruit becomes more sweet. I have personally not experienced that. I mean, I have not experienced a fruit that has already been eaten by a parrot. But our one devotee, Venugopal Prabhu, he told me that he used to eat like that, guavas, for example, when the parrots, they eat a little bit. If he eats that, it is even sweeter than the fruit itself. And the Chinese, here in this part of the world, they have a drink called bird's nest drink. It's the saliva of the birds as they construct the nest, and with that they have a drink. I don't know how that tastes, but here Shukamukhad amrita drava samyutam. So there is a science to this. So that's what happens. It becomes sweeter from the mouth of a devotee. That's why the Bhagavatam say there is a verse by Hemachandra, I think his name is Hemachandra, quoted by Jiva Goswami. It says, Purana, what is that? No. Veda Puranam Kavyam cha Prabhur Mitram Priyevacha Bodhayanti Tihi Prahus Trivrid Bhagavata Punah. It is said that the Vedas and the Upanishads instruct one like a master instructing the disciple. The Puranas instruct the reader in the manner of a friend. And the Kavyam, the songs, or like prayers of the devotees like this, or Vaishnava bhajans, they instruct us like a lover instructs his beloved. Very sweetly, very in a different language. It's not like you should do this kind of like master to disciple relationship. Like for example, Arjuna and Kṛṣṇa were friends. But when Krishna says Shadhumam Tvam Prapannam, 2nd chapter, 7th verse, oh Krishna, I am unable to solve my problem. I submit to you as a disciple. Sishyasteham, please instruct me. Then Arjuna assumed the role of a guru, instructing his disciple, although that was not their natural relationship. It was friend to friend. But then they became master to disciple. Immediately, Krishna chastised him. Now, a lover and a beloved, it doesn't work that way. That doesn't work. So, they have to be told sweetly, gently, the instruction. So, the Vaishnava songs, if you read Bhaktivinoda Thakur songs, Narottam Das Thakur songs, or even Rupa Goswami or Even, for example, the Satyavrata Muni's Damodarashtaka, very sweet. It's a very beautiful song, very nicely said, but also a very high philosophy is there in that. Extremely high is one of the highest philosophies in that song. All our Vaishnava songs are full imbued with full Vaishnava. In fact, that's why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who was a great scholar, he proclaimed that Narottam Das Thakur's Prarthana and Prema Bhakti Chandrika, these books, the Narottam Das Thakur, the songs of Narottam Das Thakur are non-different from the Vedas. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said. Same is true for Bhaktivinoda Thakur as well. So, they instruct us, whether sweet or not sweet, when the pure devotee, he instructs us, the instruction, the holy name, the teachings become even more sweeter, even more effective. That's why Prabhupada, how he prayed when he was in a Jaladuta, just arrived at Boston. He said, please make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. So that is the influence of a devotee. Influence of a devotee. So going back, so that, you see, he's not, he's not interested directly in us becoming devotees, but through his devotees. Now, coming back to the point of today's verse, we have digressed quite a bit. Now, coming back to this point, that Arjuna saw, he asked for the four-handed form. So Krishna showed four-armed form. Now, in the purport, Prabhupada says something which some people do not agree with. And recently I have come across a few comments like this about Prabhupada's version, his purports. So, for example, there was a question in a forum, in a public, I think Quora or something. I think it was Quora, Quora.com. So somebody wrote that, oh, I bought a Bhagavad Gita for my girlfriend, and please advise me on how to be guided properly and not be misled. What are the things that I need to? I bought a Bhagavad Gita as it is for her. Okay? How to ensure that she understands it rightly. Something along those lines. There was a question, and I just looked at the answers. There were a lot of answers. So people were telling that ISKCON Gita is not for everyone. It's for those who are focused on Krishna. But we should understand that Gita is a Hindu scripture, and different schools of thought or different schools of worship and philosophy, they have their own interpretation, and the ISKCON version of the Gita is not for everyone. One guy wrote like that. And one guy wrote, well, the way Prabhupada writes, it is sometimes demeaning. He calls some people demigods, and it is not. Those words were never used in the Bhagavad Gita, but he introduced terms which are derogatory and therefore insulting. And sometimes he uses strong words like rascal, fool. So, and some people quoted like this kind of things. He did not quote exactly this, but they say they have gripes about Prabhupada's way of translating. Now, when Prabhupada said this, Krishna knew that Arjuna was not interested in seeing a four-handed form. Okay, when Prabhupada said like this, they say that this is his opinion. That's not in the Bhagavad Gita. That's not enough. Arjuna did not say I'm not interested in the four-handed form. This is Prabhupada introduced. And he's saying Krishna knew that Arjuna was not interested in seeing a four-handed form. Where did he get it from? They say things like this. This is not a new introduction by Prabhupada. How would we know? How would we know? Because this is corroborated in other parts, in other scriptures. This is a more confidential aspect of knowledge. Very, very confidential. This aspect of only Krishna is very confidential. How come Okay, I can understand you are saying, okay, Shiva, okay, he's a Devata, okay, fine, Ganesh. But here, Narayan and Krishna, you're separating them also. Krishna only, not even Narayana. What is this? Vaishnavas themselves have problems with this. Like we can understand people of other schools having things to say about us because we only say Krishna or we are Vaishnavas. But then now within the Vaishnava community, it creates a fault line with this kind of commentary. Who's not interested in seeing a forehand, where did you get it from? How to answer this? So when we see statements like this, we should go deep into that. We should understand how, and if we can't, then we should ask devotees who might be able to explain. And this is explained actually in the fourth chapter of the Hada Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Like whether Krishna came from Vishnu or Vishnu came from Krishna. So this is analyzed there. A lot of verses actually. We have done a lecture on that as well. And the thing about this is Krishna is the origin, and that is proved by many shastric references. Krishna is the origin of even Vishnu. And one of the very easy things that we can understand that Krishna displays that Vishnu does not. It is not that Vishnu and Krishna are different. They are the same. They are exactly the same. But according to the necessity of the Leela, the Lord may manifest to a certain degree his opulences. He is always full of all opulences, but he may manifest only partially. For example, in the avatar of Buddha, he is not showing many of his opulences, but he showed the opulence of knowledge. He did that. But also, he rejected the Vedas. In other, what is that? Incarnations, he showed different, like for example, Parshuram, the Virya, he showed very much. So, particular opulences are highlighted and partially shown. It's not that he is devoid of all the opulence. He is always full of all opulences, but he only displays to an extent. But Krishna is the one person who did not withhold the full display of his opulences. And that Krishna expands himself into Vishnu forms, Narayana forms, multiple millions and trillions and innumerable forms. But at the same time, in the form of Krishna, he displays everything, and he also allows for very intimate relationships with his devotees, which other forms do not allow. Okay, so there is this purport, this Adi 229. That is cited in the comment section in the purport. So you see, this personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, has two hands and holds a flute, whereas the other Narayana has four hands with conch, wheel, mace, and lotus flower. Narayana is identical to Krishna. They are in fact the same person, manifested differently, like a high court judge who is differently situated in his office and at home. As Narayana, the Lord is manifested with four hands, but as Krishna is manifested with two hands. Now, the thing is, you can see this transformation from four-handed to two-handed in three different instances. Of course, many instances, but three instances I want to highlight, in which all three are intimate relationships. First is Arjuna here. Krishna showed his four-armed form. Prabhupada said Arjuna was not so much interested, but he just wanted to see as well. So he showed him. And at last, his two-handed form. Same thing Prabhupada cited in the purport. The parents, Devaki Vasudev, when he was born to them in the prison, he first appeared in the four-arm form, big, filling up the entire prison cell. with the bright, aura, 400 form. So Vishnu form. And then they said, if you are like this, then Kamsa will know that you are Krishna. Then he will try to kill you. If he's there showing himself as God, how can Kamsa kill him? But out of their love, they were feeling like that as well. Of course, they also prayed to him that he's Narayana and everything. And he did that so that because they prayed for him in the previous lives and asked and prayed to Vishnu and wanted a son similar to him. And he reminded them that I am that same Vishnu who you have prayed to, who has now come as your son. And then they said, no, please quickly become a small boy. So he became a small boy, like a small boy, 200 form and everything. Now, if you notice in this, Arjuna is in the Sakhya Rasa. The Vasudeva and Devaki were in the Vatsalya Rasa. So these two are very intimate relationships. I will show you the Madhurya Rasa. And we will get an idea why Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in 200 form and not 400 form, and why he's not interested in that 400 form so much. It's not that he's not interested in God. How you can say he's not interested in Narayana? That's not it at all. Okay, let's understand this. This is Rasa Tattva. Okay, this is a very high subject. That's why normal people cannot enter into this understanding. But this is a thing. So let's read these few verses in sequence. Adi 17.278 onwards. गोपिका भावेर ए सुदृढ़ निश्चय व्रजेंद्र नंदन विना अन्यत्र न होय. It is firmly concluded that the ecstatic mood of the gopis is possible only before Krishna and no one else. So the point is, it's not about whether Krishna or Narayana is the same or not. It is the same. But the mood that Narayana evokes and the mood that Krishna evokes is different. And especially devotees who have a natural relationship with Krishna in his 200 form and especially Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya Rasa, they cannot. They want to see him as that, so that their full love can be expressed in an informal setting, in a non-awe-inspiring setting. Just very intimate. So you see, this is in the Madhurya Rasa. Now next. Shyama Sundara Shikhi Pichha Gunja Vibhushan Gopavesha Tribhangima Murali Vadan. He has a blue complexion, a peacock feather on his head, a gunja garland, and the decorations of a cowherd boy. His body is curved in 3 places and he holds a flute to his mouth. Okay. Iha chhadi Krishna jodi hoy anyakar gopikar bhavanahi jay nikat tahar. You see, iha chhadi Krishna jodi hoy anyakar gopikar bhavanahi jay nikat tahar. If Lord Krishna gives up this original form and assumes another Vishnu form, nearness to him cannot invoke the ecstatic mood of the gopis. Okay. Now, Gopinam Pashupendra Nandana Jusho Bhavasya Kastam Kriti Vijñātum Kshamate Duruha Padavi Sancharinah Prakriyam Avishkurvati Vaishnavim Apitanum Tasmin Bhujair Jishnubher Yasam Hanta Chaturbhiradbhutaruchim Ragodaya Kunchati. Once, Lord Sri Krishna playfully manifested himself as Narayana with 4 victorious hands and a very beautiful form. When the gopis saw this exalted form, however, their ecstatic feelings were crippled. Even a learned scholar, therefore, cannot understand the gopis' ecstatic feelings. Okay? Even a learned scholar cannot understand the gopis' ecstatic feelings. So when people comment that, oh, how can Prabhupada say that he was not interested in Vishnu? They're not even scholars. Okay? They're absolute. Who are they? Who are they to comment on Prabhupada? So when we encounter a statement by a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada that is borderline audacious or controversial, it is never departing from the truth. That's one thing we have to understand when we read Prabhupada's words. They don't make mistakes. Pure devotees don't make mistakes. So, if Prabhupada did not make a mistake with that statement, what did he mean? That's how we dive deep into the understanding. Okay? We cannot challenge a pure devotee and expect to enter into the understanding. Cannot. There is a barrier which will not open. The door will be closed by such challenge. Only through submission. Pariprashnena sevaya. Pranipatena. These three things will open the key to the knowledge. Upadekshanti te jnanam. Jnaninas tattvadarshana. Upadekshanti. Then they will impart knowledge unto you. Now you may say, no, I have books. Whether I am doing seva or not, whether I am bowing down or not, I have books. I have intelligence. Fine. I will get knowledge. No. Upadekshanti won't happen. It's not that the speaker, the pure devotee is speaking, that is Upadekshanti. No. Yes, he does that. But still it will not enter our heart when we are not of the right disposition. If we don't have the right disposition of a student, that does not enter. There will be no conception of Kṛṣṇa in our heart. Just like there will be no conception of Kṛṣṇa, there is no conception of a child inside the womb of a mother who is barren, who is not fertile. So if we are not fertile, the seed may be there. But if the land is barren, not fertile, and there will be no germination. Similarly, if a man is potent but the woman is not fertile, then there will be no conception. And if the man is impotent and the woman is fertile also, there will be no conception. But in this case, the giver of the knowledge, Bhaktilata Bij, Guru Kṛṣṇa Prasadapaya. So Guru is giving the bij, the seed. This seed is potent because it is by the bona fide Acharya, authorized Acharya in the Sampradaya. So the bija is potent, but if it's not having effect on me, I am not fertile. My heart is not fertile. So I should inquire, why is Prabhupada saying like that? That's borderline controversial, or straight up controversial, squarely controversial. So why is Prabhupada? This is the thing. So their ecstatic feelings were crippled. Even a learned scholar therefore cannot understand the gopis' ecstatic feelings, which are firmly fixed upon the original form of Lord Kṛṣṇa as the son of Nanda Maharaj. The wonderful feelings of the gopis in ecstatic paramarasa with Kṛṣṇa constitute the greatest mystery in spiritual life. It's not just a mystery, the greatest mystery in spiritual life. What is that? The wonderful feelings of the gopis in ecstatic paramarasa with Kṛṣṇa constitute the greatest mystery in spiritual life. And what is it from? Lalita Madhava by Rupa Goswami. Okay? Vasanta kale rasa leela kore govardhane antardhana koila sanketa kori radhasane. During the season of the springtime, when the rasa dance was going on, suddenly Kṛṣṇa disappeared from the scene, indicating that he wanted to be alone with Srimati Radharani. Nibhrita nikunje vasi dekhe Radhar बाट अन्वेषिते आयला ताहा गोपिकार ठाट. Tat, phalanx. Kṛṣṇa was sitting in a solitary bush, waiting for Srimati Radharani to pass by. But while he was searching, the gopis arrived there like a phalanx of soldiers. दूर होते कृष्ण देखी बोले गोपी गण ei dekh kunjar bhitar Vrajendra Nandan. Just see, the gopis said, seeing Kṛṣṇa from a distant place, here within a bush is Kṛṣṇa, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Gopi gana dekhi Kṛṣṇer hoilo sadvasa lukaite narilo bhaye hoila vibhasha. As soon as Kṛṣṇa saw all the gopis, he was struck with emotion. Thus he could not hide himself, and out of fear he became motionless. चतुर्भुज मूर्ति धरी आछेन वसिया कृष्ण देखी गोपी कहे निकटे आसिया. Krishna assumed his four-armed Narayana form and sat there. When all the gopis came, they looked at him and spoke as follows. इहो कृष्ण नहे इहो नारायण मूर्ति एट बलि तारे सभे करे नति स्तुति. Nati stuti. They bow down and glorified him. He is not Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. So they did not say this is. They don't consider Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No. Krishna is Krishna. Narayana is Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is a distance that is created. Emotionally, there is a distance in rasa. After saying this, they offered obeisances and the following respectful prayers. Nati stuti. Namo Narayanaya. Namo Narayana Deva Karaho Prasad. Krishna Sanga Deho Mor Ghucha Ho Vishad. Very nice. O Lord Narayana, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Kindly be merciful to us. Give us the association of Krishna and thus vanquish our lamentation. See? They are asking Narayan, please give us the association of Krishna. Namo Narayana Deva Karaho Prasad. Krishna Sanga Deho Mora Ghucha Ho Vishad. A similar prayer is there in the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, Navadvip Bhavataranga. I think Navadvip Bhavataranga. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote. So he wrote 5 prayers to Narasimhadev in that, glorifying him, asking him. Now Narasimha and Krishna are non-different, but he is praying to Narasimhadev, asking him to protect his devotion to Krishna. Because Narasimhadev is called as the protector of his devotees. Please protect my devotion to Krishna. So the prayer to Narasimhadev is to protect his bhakti to Krishna. See, that's very different. So it's not that the devotee looks down upon other forms of Vishnu. No. Even if they meet, please give us mercy so that I can have love for Krishna. Here also Narayana. Krishna Sanga Deho Mor Ghucha Ho Vishad. Namo Narayana Deva Karaho Prasad. Purport. The gopis were not made happy even by seeing the four-armed form of Narayana. They were searching madly after Krishna. They were enacting leelas. Some of the gopis acting as Krishna, some of them as demons, sometimes some of them as cowherd boys. They were acting all his leelas because they went mad when Krishna went missing from the Rasa Leela. So they were searching and searching, and when they saw Narayan, if they knew that this is Krishna, then they will just embrace him and want to be with him. But you see what they did? They bowed down and said, please give us Krishna. Where is Krishna? That means the gopis' quest has not ended with Narayan. They wanted Krishna. That means Narayan and Krishna, there is a different feeling that they evoke but Krishna was the one who changed to Narayan. It's not some another personality. Same person. But still gopis' feelings were different. That's the thing. So he is one at the same time different. Achintya bheda bheda. The gopis were not made happy even by seeing the four-armed form of Narayan. Yet they offered their respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and begged from him the benediction of achieving the association of Krishna. Such is the ecstatic feeling of the gopis. Eta bali namaskari gela gopi gan hena kale radha se dila darshan. After saying this and offering obeisances, all the gopis dispersed. Then Srimati Radharani came and appeared before Lord Krishna. Okay, now let's see what happens. Radha dekhi Krishna tare hasya karite she chaturbhuj murti chahena rakhite. When Lord Krishna saw Radharani, he wanted to maintain the four-armed form to joke with her. Lukaila dui bhuja radhar agrete bahujatna koila Krishna narilo rakhite. In front of Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna had to hide the 2 extra arms. He tried his best to keep 4 arms before her, but he was completely unable to do so. Now, Krishna is the one who is Narayana. And he did it in front of the gopis. He did it in front of Vasudeva and Devaki. He did it in front of Arjuna. But because of Arjuna's love, Krishna wants to always satisfy the devotees in the form that they want to see. And in the case of Hanuman, he wanted to see Sitaram. Even when he saw Rukmini Krishna, it did not invoke the same feeling for him. He wanted the distance, the Ram, who is Ekapatni Vrata, that Leela, that form he wanted to. Even Krishna's form, he knew is the same person, but he wanted that distance of I am a servant. And my Ram went for Sita because he will not go for any other woman. Even if Sita is lost, he will fight and everything he will do to get her back, but he will not go with another woman. So, whereas Krishna has unlimited, like 16,108 wives, but that is not an immoral thing at all. That's the thing. Ramachandra Bhagwan is the same as Lord Krishna, but he did not exhibit all the opulence that Krishna exhibited. He did not, for example, he had one wife. He did not say that, oh, I'm going to have multiple wives. No, but Krishna did that. That does not mean Krishna is more frivolous than Ram. No, nothing of that. He is just, for example, we are devotees. Why should Krishna accept us? Why? He has so many servants, he has so many devotees in the Vaikuntha, why he should accept us? So similarly, if Krishna already has a wife, why he should accept us as a wife? But Krishna is so merciful that millions and millions of gopis and wives, they can serve him. There's no limit. There's no competition. Like otherwise, there's a competition. Like who will become the wife of Krishna? Here, there's no competition. Whoever come. How many girlfriends? Millions and trillions, and no count of how many gopis were there. No count of how many gopas were there. No count of how many cows were there. Unlimited opulence, on full display. That is Krishna. And Krishna tried his best, you see. He tried his best to keep four arms before her. But he was completely unable to do so because of Radharani's love. Radhar Vishuddha Bhaver Achintya Prabhav Je Krishnere Karaila Dvibhuja Swabhav. The influence of Radharani's pure ecstasy is so inconceivably great that it forced Krishna to come to his original two-armed form. Same thing with Arjuna. That's why the topic of today's lecture is the confidential love of Arjuna for Krishna. So confidential that Krishna, although Arjuna asked him to show, he showed his four-arm form, but he quickly turned to two-arm form because that's what Arjuna wants to really see. Because his friendly relation will come back. So inconceivably great that it forced Krishna to come to his original two-armed form. Then you see, Rasarambha vidhau niliyavasata kunje mrigakshi ganair drishtam gopayitum samuddharadhiya ya sushtu sandarshita Radhaya pranayasya hanta mahima yasya shriya rakshitum sa shakya prabha vishnuna piharina nasi chaturbahuta. Prior to the Rasa dance, Lord Krishna hid himself in a grove just to have fun. When the gopis came, their eyes resembling those of deer, by his sharp intelligence, he exhibited his beautiful four-armed form to hide himself. But when Srimati Radharani came there, Krishna could not maintain his four arms in her presence. This is the wonderful glory of her love. Quotation from Ujjwal Neelamani, Naika Bhed 7 by Sri Rupa Goswami. So, this is a glimpse into the confidential love that is possible with Krishna, Sakhya Vatsalyam Madhurya. One of the four extra qualities that Krishna has, apart from Narayana, is this excellent, super excellent love by his devotees. And that is characterized by these intimate feelings of Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. The boyfriends and Arjuna, like that, friendship. Then there is the parental, and then there is the conjugal love. So that is the secret behind Krishna showing Arjuna the most beautiful form, even after the four-handed form. And that is alluded to by Srila Prabhupada in the purport as well, that Vasudeva Devaki also experienced that. Um, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he saw Shadbhuj Roop, the Ram, Krishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So to show that it's the same person. But of course, that is a different issue. But you see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Ram and Krishna. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to share. So any questions or comments on this topic? I'm going to answer relevant questions because there are some irrelevant comments and questions. Siva Venkata. I'm from Kadapa. I want to join your ISKCON temple. Okay, so you can contact Vinod Krishna Prabhu, who is an ISKM Proddatur. We have a branch in Proddatur in Andhra. You can contact Vinod Krishna Prabhu. How shall I? Okay. I'll give you maybe his phone number. It's all right because he's anyway running the. Okay. His name is Vinod Krishna Prabhu. You can contact him. I'll just write it in the comment section here. Okay, so I have commented there. So you can follow that person. You can contact that person on WhatsApp, and he can probably guide you. You can maybe go to that temple first. It's a small temple we have, very small. You should also understand our Ritvik system. We are not exactly ISKCON here. We are ISKM, International Sri Krishna Mandir. Because in ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada actually ordered that his disciples should not become guru to initiate other disciples, but they should initiate on behalf of him, and he would be the Diksha Guru. Like if you become a devotee, and Prabhupada is still the Diksha Guru. But they change the system, so there's a corruption that's going on in ISKCON, and we are against that. We're against that. And so we have a parallel movement, same books, same Prabhupada's teachings, but with Prabhupada in the center, because we don't want you to become a disciple of somebody who's not bona fide, who is not authorized, who is fallible, who's not infallible. So we have a whole book on it, and we have a series of videos on this subject. But for the beginning, for the start, contact Vinod Krishna Prabhu in ISKM Proddatur and connect with him. Okay. We have our groups as well, our Telegram groups or WhatsApp groups. Maybe he can add you into that. Okay, let me see what else we have. Rajeshwari Mataji, please share the verse of Hemachandra quoted by Jiva Goswami. Nice one. Let me see if I can find it here. Veda. Wow. No, it is not there here. Let me see. No, it is not here. It is quoted in the Tattva Sandarbha. Veda Puranam Kavyam Cha Prabhurmitram Priyevacha Bodhayantiti hi Praho Trivrid Bhagavatapuram. In order to show here, I will actually do one thing. I know where it is. Okay, you can take a screenshot. You can take a screenshot of this. Let me see, is it clear? I do not know. I think it's not clear. This is the verse. So if you can take a screenshot of that, you will have it. So so next, anything else? Ten, 13, 3. So it's a nice verse. शृणुष्वावहितो राजन् अपि गुह्यं वदामि ते ब्रूयुः स्निग्धस्य शिष्यस्य गुरवो गुह्यमप्युत. O king, kindly hear me with great attention. Although the activities of the Supreme Lord are very confidential, no ordinary man being able to understand them, I shall speak about them to you. For spiritual masters explain to a submissive disciple even subject matters that are very confidential and difficult to understand. So that's the way to understand confidential matters from a spiritual master who is a devotee of Krishna. Somebody is asking, where is Nimanitha Das Prabhu? Not seeing any post from him from a long time. So he is currently running our ISKM preaching center in Canada, Montreal, and he has been very, very busy with that, and it's not easy running his family and preaching there and under very trying circumstances. It's not at all easy. So he has been very busy with that. That's why he has not been posting as much. But he wants to also get back into it. He does classes on French, in French. So because he speaks French and that area they speak French. So there is this 3, 9, 11. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja ase shrute kshita patho nanunatha pumsam yadyadhiyata urugaya vibhavayanti tad vapuh pranayase sadanugrahaya. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. 424-44 cited in the comments. Also, there's something like that. Okay. Okay. So somebody is asking here, the same person, Panda Rabbit 26, Panda Rabbit 26, is asking, who asked about Nimanitha Prabhu, is asking, can Srimati Radharani have millions of boyfriends like Krishna has millions of girlfriends? Why is it blasphemy when Krishna can do it? Why can't Srimati Radharani? Does this mean Krishna's love is not pure towards the jivas? You know, Radharani's gopis and jivatma's love is superior than God's love, as we share one God, but we are not allowed to love other person and have other girlfriend or boyfriend apart from Krishna. You know, your understanding is so misplaced. We share the same God, but God cannot share us from any other person. Okay. Relax. Okay. Your understanding is so flawed because you see Krishna like you. You cannot have the same thinking about Krishna considering our moral principles in this world. Krishna loves, it's not that he's having girlfriends means he's enjoying like a boy would enjoy a girl here in this material world. If a boy here has multiple girlfriends, his character is very bad. Right? But Krishna is not like that. If he was like that, you cannot actually share that one God. Because how is everybody going to pray to him? The thing is, we are eternally related with Krishna. But we are not Krishna. So we cannot do what Krishna does. We are eternally related with Krishna. It's not that we are not allowed to have another this and that. It's just our constitutional position is that our relationship is only with Krishna. And Krishna's relationship is with all of us. If we have to pray to one God, that means by definition, Krishna has to be equally present for everyone. Now, in this world, if a man has multiple wives or if a boy has multiple girlfriends, he cannot give attention to all of them at the same time. But Krishna can. Krishna can hear everything that you are saying, and he can even hear everything that I am saying. He's very attentive to me, he's very attentive to you, he's very attentive to millions and trillions of countless number of living entities at the same time. We just don't have that. We don't have the omnipotency to handle that. We don't have it. And Krishna, when you say girlfriends or boyfriends, Krishna's Radharani belongs to Krishna. Everyone belongs to Krishna. So, Krishna, that means by definition, he has to shelter everyone. But he's not, how to say, his attention, his care for us, he's not afraid. It's concentrated for each and every one of us. We cannot achieve that. Krishna can. Otherwise, how can everybody pray to Krishna? How can he answer everybody's prayers? He has to listen to everyone. So he is main, and it takes a huge amount of logistics, right, for us if you want to do that, something like that. We cannot even manage. Krishna can. Krishna knows even what the dog is going through, what the cockroach is going through, what the ant is going through. He knows every detail of that soul, every single soul. So don't put Krishna in your box and try to understand him like that. So Radharani only is with Krishna. She doesn't have anything else. She only belongs to Krishna. But Krishna, he accepts everybody in whatever relationship they want to come to him, he accepts. So that's why his friendship with Arjuna, or his love with the gopis, or his childish pranks with his mother, or his master, role with say Hanuman or Daruka or somebody like that, all the same. For him, they are trying to serve him out of love in different flavors of love. So he's reciprocating with them. That's it. It's not we allowed or not allowed. We are meant to see. Okay, it's like this. This finger serves this body, and this finger will be nourished only when this stomach is fed. This finger cannot serve some other stomach and get nourished. Cannot. But the stomach has relation with every single part of the body. But each and every body relation is only related to the stomach. It will get the nutrients only because the stomach is digesting. Understand the point? So one is the Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. That one person, the singular eternal supreme person, is maintaining multitude of jivarashis. So he has to have relationship with everyone. He has relationship with everyone anyway. For example, a president or a prime minister of a country, everybody respects that person as a prime minister, but for that person, each one of us, he has to take care of, right? I mean, I'm giving you a crude example. The king, he has to take care of everyone. Whereas for the person, there is only one king. But for the king, there are many subjects. So he has to take care of all. The responsibility of all of them, all of their well-being lies with the king. Or in a family, a father and mother may have multiple children. For all of them, he is the father. But the father has to be equally kind and loving towards all of his children, right? All of his children. So similarly, Krishna, and some children will have different kind of relationship with the father. Some children will have different kind of relationship. Some are more close to him and like nice and obedient. Some are a little bit naughty and they are a maverick and they're kind of upstart. So they require some scolding, where others don't. And the way a father deals with the son compared with the daughter is also different because of how much care or how much closeness or whatever. So according to the relation, he has to relate with different children differently. So similarly, we have different relationships with Krishna. So he reciprocates accordingly. That does not mean that Krishna is unchaste. His love is not pure. Can you say that a father's love is not pure for his children because he has many children? And the children's love for their father is pure because they only have one father. Doesn't make sense. Panda Rabbit 26. I am learning your religion. I am an agnostic. I believe in God but skeptical about religion. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranetam. To understand God, we have to understand Him through His word. Religion means His word. So you cannot accept God and not accept His word. So read books first. Read the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Read the Bhagavatam. Then you will understand God. You cannot have opinions without knowledge. Having opinions without evidence, without information, that is speculation. So you got to have knowledge or information first. So you have to read. So study Bhagavad Gita as it is and Srimad Bhagavatam for extensive study of our books. of extensive study of Krishna and what is religion, what is God, then you will understand. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, these books you have to read, then you will understand. You cannot expect to understand without reading anything. So don't be like that. Avinash Patil is saying, Sir, please explain Sri Radha ji, who is she? Was she older than Bhagwan? Was she married? Radha Krishna nahi anya. You know, Radha Krishna are eternal. When they come here, when they seemingly take birth, it's not that they started their existence at that time. No. Always there in the Vaikuntha, in the Golok Vrindavan. When they come here for a purpose to display their Leela. Okay. So they're both eternal. Was she married? Well, it's not exactly married. Now, technically, she has a husband called Abhimanyu, not the Mahabharat Kurukshetra Abhimanyu, another Abhimanyu. That is actually a Chinmaya Rasa. That means it is to create a feeling of paramour love. This is very high subject matter. I don't think you can understand right away. So, Krishna is loved in many, many flavors. So, in conjugal love, he is loved as a husband and sometimes as a boyfriend. That is called technically in Sanskrit Swakiya and Parakiya Madhurya Rasa. So, in Swakiya Madhurya Rasa, it is like Rukmini and Krishna, husband and wife. Parakiya Madhurya Rasa is like Radharani, as if marrying someone other than the husband. Now, in this material world, such a love is very derogatory, not derogatory, so degrading. It's very low class behavior, sinful behavior, in fact. But in the spiritual world, that is the highest ecstasy. It looks like she has a husband, but she's actually eternally related to Krishna. That husband is only to bring about that bhava in Radharani, that she has to love somebody else than the husband, and therefore there is a lot of hiding and a lot of surrender, a lot of obstacles that one has to go, one has to experience in order to actually love Krishna. And even in that, there is no binding contract of marriage. So Krishna can leave them at any time, whereas the husband and wife, the husband can't just leave the wife. Nowadays, divorces are happening without any meaning, but in all religions, actually, the marriage is for life. So a husband and wife. So if there is no husband, if there is no contract of such marriage, then there is no reason for Krishna to remain with Radharani per se. It's not exactly that, but it's the kind of feeling that it evokes, and that even when there is no contract, Krishna can do anything, can leave her, still she loves him. That kind of love is unknown to even Rukmini, unknown to Lakshmi. Lakshmi did so much tapasya to get into the Ras Leela. She could not enter because her mood does not allow her to have the kind of love that Radharani and the gopis have. It's so far elevated that even Lakshmi cannot go there. Lakshmi cannot enter Ras Leela. Why would Lakshmi want to go to Ras Leela if Lakshmi's position is higher than Radharani's? If the wife's kind of relationship with Krishna is higher than the paramour love, why would Lakshmi take tapasya to achieve something lower than what she's already having? She wouldn't. Radharani never did tapasya to become like Lakshmi, like a wife of Krishna. No, she wasn't interested. But Lakshmi was interested in Radharani's position and the gopis' position. The gopis are not interested in the Lakshmi's position. So who has higher thing? The gopis. And chief of them is Srimati Radharani. So when we try to understand Radha Krishna love, it's not a subject for the beginners, first of all, because they invariably compare it to immoral activities in this world. It is completely different. Iron and gold. That's explained in the 4th chapter of the Hadilila of Chaitanya Charitamrita in great detail. So before understanding all of that, we need to understand the greatness of Krishna first and how he's related to everyone. then only we can enter into the understanding, the proper understanding of these Leelas of Krishna with the gopis or with anyone. These are very, very confidential, and it can be easily mistaken by unscrupulous people who do not care to understand the position of Krishna and yet try to comment on his activities, thus committing offenses. So that's why Bhagavatam was written in a way that will educate us about the position of Krishna, about unparalleled and unquestioned authority, supremacy of Krishna. Then we can understand his Ras Leela to an extent. So, Deenakaran Sivalingam, he's saying religion is it a concept or identity? God conscious is a different level. Am I right to say so, Prabhu? No, you got it all mixed up. Religion means dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. The word of Krishna, the rules set out by God for us. To follow that, obedience to that is religion. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam navai vidur rishayo napi devaha na siddha mukhya asura manushyaha kutascha vidya dhara charanadaya. So dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. So dharma means it is the teachings and the instructions of God. To follow that is dharma. So we should know what God said first of all. Nobody reads Bhagavad Gita and understands it properly, and yet they comment on dharma. That is, we should read first Bhagavad Gita as it is, that too, not any version of Bhagavad Gita, because we have to understand Bhagavad Gita as Krishna wanted to say it. Not that I use Krishna's words because they're popular, and because I am an unpopular idiot. My opinions don't matter, but I know that Krishna's Bhagavad Gita is popular, so I will write a commentary on Krishna's popular Bhagavad Gita and write my unpopular stupid philosophy, so that a reader may be introduced to my philosophy. This is many 99.99% of the commentaries are of this standard. They are not interested in actually presenting Krishna as he is. When Krishna says sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja, how difficult is it to understand? Even if you know any Indian language, you will understand mam ekam. Ekam means one, me alone. Surrender to me. Sarva dharman parityajya. What is tyajya or tyakta? Parityakta, what is that? Give up. Anybody knows. Any Indian would know this. Parityaga. Tyaga and tyakta and tyajya is the same thing. Sarva dharman parityajya. Give up all dharma and surrender unto me alone, Krishna said. That is real dharma. All the thing that we know as dharma, if you don't come to understand this as dharma, our understanding of dharma is flawed. So surrender to Krishna means to accept what he says. Accept what he says. What did he say? Read the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And nobody can explain Bhagavad Gita unless he is a devotee. Because Krishna himself says in the 4th chapter, Bhaktosi me sakha chete rahasyam he taduttamam. This rahasya, this uttama rahasya, you can understand, Arjuna, because you are my friend and my devotee. If you are not my devotee and friend, you cannot understand me. If you are my enemy, trying to use my words to project some other philosophy, you are not my friend. My friend who cares about me, who presents me, who represents me properly, such a person can understand. Who's my devotee? So therefore, we have to hear the commentary of a devotee, a pure devotee coming in the sampradaya. Evam parampara praptam, imam rajarsha viduhu. Krishna said this in the Bhagavad Gita itself. You should take a guru who is coming in the parampara, sampradaya. Guru Shishya parampara, not the father-son parampara. No. Not Shukra parampara or seminal parampara. Guru Shishya parampara. Such a devotee, such a acharya, such a guru we have to take and receive knowledge from him. Then only can we enter into the understanding of dharma and Bhagavan. So therefore, get only the copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is, no other copy. And Srimad Bhagavatam, written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is the only authorized version that is there in the market today. Unfortunately, everybody else has just hijacked this book and these scriptures and writing their own commentaries without understanding, without the insight that only a devotee would have. So, which chapter from Gita should I read daily? No, no, no. From start to end, you read the whole Bhagavad Gita, and hundreds of times you read. You can read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, not which chapter. Everything in toto. Sarvam etadritam manya yanmam vadasi Keshava. Arjuna said, whatever you have told Krishna, I accept as truth. Not that I will accept only 13th chapter, Prabhu. No, no, no. All 18 chapters we have to accept. So, and understand what the conclusion is. And then read Srimad Bhagavatam, read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and read them multiple times. Then our understanding will deepen and deepen, and then we'll become a nice devotee. Then we'll become very knowledgeable, and become very morally upright. Everything. We'll be a perfect devotee. And then we can inspire others also to take up this path. Is Jagannath and Krishna same? Yes. Krishna and Jagannath different? No, they're not. If somebody is saying that, then he is mistaken. Jai Gaura, Shai Krishna, Shai Jagannath. Okay, I will stop it here. Thank you very much for your attendance. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण. The live stream doesn't want to end.